Hey, everybody, welcome to Salty Truth. And I wanted to see if this is going to go live. I've never went live on YouTube before, so this should be pretty interesting. I wanted to get on here and talk to you. We just went live on TikTok, and I discussed some things that I feel that are kind of off in this investigation with Charlie Kirk. And I have been watching, and I'm going to give all credit to Valhalla VFT. He is amazing. I love watching that. Watching all of his videos. They're just awesome. And he really breaks things down. And we all had a question. Was Charlie wearing an earpiece, or was that blood that was coming out of the side of his head when the shot was taken? And I'm telling you right now, he kind of breaks it down. So it's going to absolutely blow your freaking mind. So if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe and make sure to tickle that bell icon and get all notifications so you know when I go live and you know when I post a video. I know some people are going to be slowly coming on here because this is the first time that I've actually went live on YouTube. So I'm so proud of myself for doing this. It's just so amazing. So the first thing, coffee's wonderful. So the first thing we're going to get into right now is we are going to look at a video to where he is.
And you see the way that
hold on,
his body reacts.
Okay, so we are going to Valhalla this VFT
Blur out Charlie's face.
And he is going to break this down for us. Sorry for the loud. I'm still kind of new to this, but he is going to break it down and we are going to discuss it. So let's get into it. Let me share the screen and you can see what I'm seeing. So give me a second here. Okay, here we go. Et voila, here we are. All right, let's look into this. So basically he's talking on here about whether this is going to be the bullet theory coming out of the side of the head, or if this is actually an earpiece. A lot of people have been saying it's not an earpiece, but I'm going to show you right now that I think it is. And here we go.
All right, so the overall theory here is that Charlie Kirk was actually shot from behind, upright. That round hits him at the base of the skull potentially, and this is actually an exit wound that we saw. This is a very good video. Looks very, very compelling, but there are some problems that we've now identified with the new footage. So let's check this out.
Which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, a split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter.
Okay, so this was very, very compelling at first when we talk about this. When you see this, that round, if it hits Charlie in the back of the neck, right, you see maybe some blood splatter out. And then after that blood splatter comes off, you see that potential exit wound coming out. A lot of people have said that's blood. A lot of people have said that's an earpiece. It's gone back and forth. The new footage that we're going to look at second proves what that actually was. And we're going to get.
Now, this was very interesting. So if you're not following Valhalla VFT, this is him, and you need to follow him. He has been spot on about everything that he's talked about. I have totally enjoyed watching his videos because he's real, and he's going over things in fact. So he's going to show you, we're just going to walk through his video, and I'm going to show you exactly what he's trying to tell us.
To that, right? But still very interesting. A lot of it kind of makes sense as we get into it, that potentially Charlie was shot from behind.
And it exited through the front of his throat. All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right. Now, including this little blood splatter that we can see here against the white backdrop, the extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound, the extreme loss of blood. No matter what the caliber is, that distance, that amount of meat is not enough for most bullets to expand. I mean, 99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance.
Okay. This is the second part I want you guys to notice. What he just said there when he was talking about bullets, that most bullets, let's say if you had a 30-06, 5.56 round, that potentially human neck is not thick enough for that round to, because when a ballistic round goes in, a full metal jacket round is designed to mushroom out to like create more damage and then blow a huge exit hole out. So what he's saying there is, even though this is a small hole, because Charlie Kirk's neck is not that thick, it didn't give time for the round to potentially actually expand, and that's why it's a pretty small hole in the front for an exit wound. Absolutely could be the case, could be true. Okay, so but could have had a bigger exit wound. We can't really say one way or another conclusively, but what he's saying there is definitely ballistically possible. What I want you to look at now, the second thing, and this is going to be important because it's it's funny how these two videos, parts of these two videos disprove each video. This part, now if we look at the front of Charlie Kirk's shirt, pulling all the way up to his face like this is going to be very important when we talk about the next video. Okay, so these things I want you guys to keep an eye on. All right, so again, I'm sure you've seen his video, right? A lot of evidence, and to be honest, I'll tell you, from the acoustics people have done, we've had professional audio engineers do acoustics of the area. Most of what the evidence shows should lend towards the idea that potentially this round came from a suppressed round. We'll talk about the sound of the acoustics of the round here in a minute, from potentially behind Charlie, okay? There's a lot of evidence that is pushing that way. But there's some problems with this video here about who this shooter.
Yeah, so he's talking about the shooter, whether it came from the front or the back. He's trying to decide on where this shot came from, which everybody should be wondering that. And people are like, why? He was shot. He was assassinated. Well, number one, there's a boy right now that's going to be tried and possibly executed. If without this information, we don't know if he did it or not. So this is something that a true investigator is going to do. They're going to dig in. They're going to try to find the truth. And now he's getting ready to show you a video from a guy named Jesse on Fire. So if you're not following him, make sure to subscribe to him too on YouTube. He's really good too. I've been watching some of his videos about what happened to Charlie and his perception of what happened. And so it's really good. And he's going to show you what this other person that was just on there showing you that it looked like blood spurting out of Charlie's head. He's going to show you that was not blood. So stay watching.
It was. All right, so take a look at this.
This guy's talking about this bush up here in the top left of this photo, and he zooms in on it.
It's coming up shortly. Right now, this gentleman here is trying to say that there was somebody up here in the shrubs that was the one that took a shot, and that was where the shooter came from. And actually, Valhalla kind of debunks that a little bit, so I'm going to show you that as well.
And he's stating that it does look suspicious. It does look suspicious. It looks like there is a person right here, and it looks like there is a rifle right here that the person is holding. A hand here, support hand, sort of very blurry image, but you can clearly make out that this is not just a bush.
Okay, so this is a big problem. So when you looked at this, it's so low fidelity, it's hard to say. We're kind of assuming things here. So I figured, why don't I find the overhead imagery of that platform and see what's actually up there beyond just this guy in the bush, which we found, and it's going to complicate some things. All right, guys, so here's this platform. Here's this supposed guy up behind here. It kind of looks like that, right? But when we see some overhead imagery of this, now we might be able to actually see what this is, okay? And as you can see, this is obviously overhead imagery. Nobody's there, right? This potential shooter's not just still standing up here behind this bush. But if we look at this, it looks to be like some sort of bench with a bush on top of it would lend towards what looks like, sort of you see something behind that bush. Well, that's probably that bench and that bush or whatever it is. Again, not saying that this wasn't potentially a shooter hiding behind this, but if we zoom in, we can.
I do have to admit that in the prior video, it does kind of look like there's flesh tone in the center of it. So could a shooter have possibly been standing behind that bush or around it? Absolutely.
Very clearly see what looks to be some sort of bench and maybe, a bush. Almost looks like a guy sitting there with a rifle. So again, I'm assuming this is, in that first image is such low fidelity that this is actually what you're seeing up there, not a person hiding behind a bush. But again, who knows? Again, not saying that he wasn't shot from behind or the upright, but I think the idea that guy was behind a bush, it's kind of a long shot now, seeing that overhead imagery. And we're going to run into some complications. Was that blood blowing out the back, or was that an earpiece? And this new video shows us a lot of new information. All right, guys, the world is crazy.
Okay, so I'm going to skip past he has to do an infomercial. I hate this. Give me a second. So this is the video that's going to show you. It's from Jesse on Fire. He is on YouTube, and he is going to show you that was not blood coming out of the side of Charlie's head. That was an earpiece, and you can clearly see it. He's also going to go into detail and show you the video or the photo of what his security guy had as well on there, and it showed that he had on the same one. Sorry, I was getting a phone call and that's distracting as shit. So you can see that there, you could not see it inside of his ear, but you could see it behind his ear. This is so interesting. I want you to see this, but let me make sure I got past this commercial. Hold on.
Creatine gummies. If you're like me, you hate drinking gritty, foul taste, go grab yourself some. You'll love it. All right, back to the video. All right, this video is from Jesse on Fire's YouTube channel. He just put this out, I believe, this morning, and this is the first footage I have seen anywhere of the actual hit from behind, and it gives us a lot of new information.
On Fox News, and then we're going to show him specifically in the video and exactly how he behaved, because I think it answers that question pretty definitively. All right, so here's what we're looking at. He gets
freaking look. This is what I want to show you. So look right here. You can see, you cannot see this earpiece inside of this guy's ear at all. Can you? Can anybody see it? Because I sure can't. But you can see the clear wire. It's almost like translucent going down and through his shirt. So Charlie was wearing the same thing. That's how they communicated with each other. Because some people were saying, well, I can't see an earpiece in Charlie's ear. Well, you can't see one in this guy's ear, but he clearly has one on. Okay, they're very transparent. So let's continue and watch this. This is pretty cool, actually.
Hit right here, and I freeze frame the first moment that it hits him. And you can see right there, it blows backwards.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Okay. Now we're going to look at that again because I think that is the most definitive thing that we've seen in terms of the direction. To me, it seems very clear that the shot came from the front, because I think that is the most definitive thing that we've seen in terms of the direction. To me, it seems very clear that the shot came from the front because, again, his shirt blows backwards. And take a look again, and you see the way that his body reacts.
Okay, let's talk about some things here. Very, very interesting video. There's a lot going on here. I want to break it all down, okay? Is this definitive proof that Charlie was shot from the front because his T-shirt billows up from behind? Well, like I said earlier, that clip we showed, the problem with this theory is that the front of Charlie Kirk's shirt also blows way up, okay? We've seen both the front and the back do the same thing. The other problem I'm having with this is from behind, you can very clearly see there's no exit wound coming out the right back of his neck where this potentially is pulling that shirt up from. So if there's no exit wound and the bullet did not pass through, what exactly, the bullet's not causing that shirt to get pulled up and backwards. It's potentially just still shockwave of Charlie being hit by something. And again, front of the shirt does it, back of the shirt does it. I'm not willing to say that's conclusive evidence of Charlie Kirk being shot from the front at all, based off of just the reaction. And had it just been the back of the shirt.
This guy is awesome. So make sure to stick with me, guys, because I'm going to have live chat here in a few minutes. And just remember, this is my very first live on YouTube. So I apologize if I screw up on something. Just bear with me, because I definitely want to get into this and be able to know how to do these lives with you. But this one is really, really good. And he's getting ready to show you that that was not blood. That was an earpiece.
Raise, and we saw an exit wound. Got it. The fact that the front of the shirt weight also raises and there's no exit wound, I don't know. I don't think that's proof of much, personally. Could Charlie Kirk have been hit in the base of the skull from the back right, which the impact of that causes both the front and the back of the shirt to raise? Maybe. I'm not sure. But could it also be a front shot? Absolutely. We're trying to figure that out. But the next really important part of this is what we can see from behind now. And that is what is very clearly not blood and an earpiece. So I'm still framing this so you guys can see this. This is right as Charlie Kirk is hit. What I want you to notice is, and we'll play it in slow motion here, this is what comes off of Charlie. This is what we see from that range.
Look really close and you'll see that, just like he says, blood is not red. He has dark hair. And then people saying that he does not have an earpiece on, you can clearly see it, because blood is not white, okay? And you can see right here, and I'm going to continue on with this, and then I want you guys to stay and kind of chat with me and let me know what you think about this video.
Day video from behind, what he said is that blood splatter. Problems with that is the color of Charlie's hair, okay? So this is not a great high-fidelity camera, so this wouldn't be picking up blood. Charlie's blood is not white. What is seems to me to be clear that Charlie has, and I have one right here with me, is a clear earpiece. So you can't actually probably see it next to his skin that well. But when he gets hit, you can very clearly see that would not be red blood. You would not be able to make that red blood out next to his dark hair. That is obviously a white or clear piece of some type of equipment, whether microphone, earphone, not blood. All right, now let's actually watch it in slow motion. Earpiece, you can see it against his head and it flies off. Yep, you can actually see it coming down the back of his shirt there. Do you see that? Yep, there it goes. So he's basically running an earpiece up the back of his shirt, which is the way I do it when I stream, right to his ear. Apparently, that's what it looks like to me. Slow back down. Here it is again. Earpiece. Yep. Can see it right. Yep, can see it coming all the way out of his shirt. All right, due to the color, due to the way you can actually see it, you can completely.
That was mind-blowing to me when I seen that, because his hair blew up in the back, and then you see a puff back here. Of course, that's what it is, and then you can actually see it blow off. Now, there's a lot of people, like I said, that are saying that was not, that was blood. That was not an earpiece. He was not wearing one. He definitely was, because you could see it, and that video proves it. So just continue to listen, and then I want to chat with you guys for a minute and see what you thought about this.
See, it's some type of wired piece of equipment, not blood. That raises some massive complications for the range day video, because if there's no actual blood splatter coming out of the back, and that doesn't disprove the theory, because if this was some type of high-powered rifle round entrance wound just below the base of, Charlie's skull, you wouldn't be able to see it either. Entrance wounds actually aren't that big, especially right when they first enter, right? The round hasn't mushroomed at all. And so could that be at the base beneath Charlie's hair and we can't even see it, and this still be an exit wound? Absolutely 100%. And it would even be unlikely blood would splatter out the back of his neck muscle here anyway, guys. Like, there's not a lot of blood, pooled up back here or anything like that for an entrance wound to cause that. So it actually makes far more sense that was some type of piece of equipment to begin with. But again, that just sort of disproves the idea that we have this blood splatter that proves Charlie was shot from behind. Now we're back to theories, okay? Something else that's really interesting from this angle and what you can see, and I've kind of seen this in all the different angles of stuff, is now we're going to talk about the acoustics, the sound a 30-06 makes, and the reaction of the crowd. So I want to show you guys this. All right, keep your eyes on the crowd. Okay, notice what they continue to look at and what they don't do. See, they're all looking at Charlie's been hit. The gunshot has gone off already. Look at everybody's faces. Everybody's still watching Charlie. Not a single person has looked.
What I also want you guys to look at is, look at this guy right here. Okay, so he's the one that I was talking about earlier that literally pulled something in his shirt the exact moment that you hear the gunshot go off. Really creepy, really wild, but look at their faces. They're not looking towards the shooter, where if the shooter would been straight ahead of Charlie, they would have been looking in that direction to where the bullet came from, but they weren't. And that's what he's trying to prove on here. So just keep watching for a second.
Looked behind them. Not one person.
Well, that one guy did.
Looks behind them when that gunshot goes off. This is important. See, this guy in front doesn't even look at anything. It's like he hasn't even heard anything. Also, as you see here, with this guy that's running security for Charlie, I want you to look at his ear. What do we see coming up the back of his neck here? You see that clear earpiece that becomes invisible, and you can't see this earpiece at all in his ear? You wouldn't be able to see it from Charlie too. So that's the equipment that Charlie's team's wearing, okay? Just more further evidence of that. But to talk about why no, and I've looked at a bunch of different angles. We're talking about a 30-06 round, guys. I've got one sitting right here, and I can tell you, I mean, look how big the cartridge is on this compared to a.
Now, this is going to be a little bit gory, so make sure to watch this, but not really gory, but he has an example of what he went out and shot and how deep the meat was that he shot, to kind of give you an idea of what a 30-06 would do to a human, right? So this, to me, I'm just totally debunked. Yeah, stay watching this. Hey, Scotty, stay watching this, because it's really, really going to get good. Hold on. This guy's amazing. I love watching this guy.
5.56 round, right? It's massive. And with that added gunpowder makes it extremely loud. And I want you guys to realize this. If the shooter is 100 yards or 150 yards away, which is not very far away, in this amphitheater, and a 30-06 unsuppressed, which according to the FBI pictures, it's an unsuppressed 30-06, were to have gone off, I can promise you, everyone in that amphitheater would have jumped because it would have sounded like a bomb going off, and they would have all looked, because this is what human beings do when a giant boom goes off in a direction, they've all looked, the whole crowd would have looked up to that roof. Basically, no one other than one guy who, with the long-haired hippie dude that we saw turn around cheering, is the only person I've seen turn around and look in that direction. That tells me, and from what the crowd has said, it sounded like a 22 or a suppressed 5.56 or something. Everyone in the crowd I've seen talk about this, that's what they've thought. It's very clearly that was not a 30-06 going off on that roof, just based off of the crowd reaction. All right, so
Is that not cool? I mean, he's like totally breaking this down. So that lets us know that if the bullet had been coming from in front of Charlie, people would have looked that way. There was something. So where did the bullet come from? That's what I want to know. Where did it come from? With no exit room. This is just like really good. Make sure to drop a comment, guys. Let me know you're here. Thank you, Scott, for Behind the Veil, for putting a comment in there. You said, I wonder where all the videos are. A ton of people are holding phones. Exactly. Where are those videos? I think some of them have circulated on the internet, but not all of them. So we could get so many different angles from so many different, witnesses there that were at the event and that witnessed everything and that had it all on camera. So let's continue, and then we're getting ready to take some comments into the chat. So give me just a moment.
Does that leave us currently? Well, problem now we're kind of back to square one, because there's no real definitive proof now that he did get shot from behind. I think a lot of the evidence still pushes that way, right? But it's very possible that he could have got shot in the front. And if we're talking about no exit wound, okay, well, if he did get shot from the front, it definitely wasn't with this 30-06 round. So now where are we at? Something's not adding up in this official story, right? Either that's not the weapon, either that's not where he was shot from. Because if he did get shot, let's say he got shot from behind, right, and it traveled through and this is an exit wound, well, the surgeon said the body was found in the skin. So that the surgeon story and that story don't work. And then if we want to talk about, oh, well, he was shot from the front, okay, and the bullet didn't go through, and we say the surgeon story is true, that's fine. But now the FBI story doesn't work with this 30-06. That's not possible. So we're kind of right back where we started, unfortunately. But I'll tell you, we could solve this. We could solve this case right now. I could solve this case by myself right now if they let me see the autopsy. And if they let me see the high fidelity camera footage from right behind Charlie. Why? Because it would be just immediately be able to tell, well, if he got shot in the back of the head, we'd see the entrance and the exit wound. Well, if he didn't get shot in the back of the head and he got shot in the front, we'd be able to see just the entrance wound. Show me the bullet. I mean, you have the bullet. The surgeon said the bullet's there. I mean, a forensics expert would immediately be able to say this is a 5.56, a 2.23, a pistol round, whatever. And that high fidelity footage would show us a lot about potentially what happened back here. But the two things that we need to just easily, I'm telling you, easily, not solve who did it, but solve how it was done, are the two things we're not getting. And suspicions are now, from what I'm hearing, and I can't confirm this, is that no autopsy was done. Is that he was just immediately embalmed, and he was put on a plane and flown out with JD.
That's another thing. That is a state law in Utah that if someone is killed mysteriously or violently, they have to do an autopsy. That is the law. So even the spouse cannot say, no, I don't want an autopsy. It doesn't matter what the spouse wants. This is the law. So if there was no autopsy performed, kind of suspicious to me, kind of sketchy. Michelle, what do you mean? You really don't believe it's really it's real? Sorry. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the assassination? Are you talking about, what are you talking about? What Valhalla here is talking about? Please tell me what you are. I want to stop it right here, and I want to do just chat with you real quick. I've got a live chat going on, so I want to hear from you guys while you're on here. This is my first time going live, so I want to make sure that everything's working. So if you don't want to say anything about the video, just make sure to put hi in the comments section. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're watching. And if you're not following or subscribed to Valhalla VFT, make sure to subscribe to him. He's amazing. And so is Jesse on Fire. They're really good. And they've really been teaching me a lot. I mean, I don't know a lot about ballistics. I don't know a lot about the guns. I don't know a lot about anything like that. So, oh, the assassination. I know it's really wild. It's really wild. And the behavior of his wife right now is kind of giving me off sketch vibes. So it kind of makes, it's almost like it was planned, but I don't want to say it was planned. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you know, like if you were expecting your husband to pass or something like that, I could understand being able to kind of, you know, get over it sooner because you've been preparing yourself for so long. But for something to happen so immediate, so tragic, so violent, publicly for the world to see, and then 2 weeks later, you're still okay and you're excited about the future, I just don't get that. So that is something that I just do not believe in. Contamination of the crime scene. It just seems unusual. It does seem very unusual behind the veil. And thank you for joining too. Thank you, Michelle, for commenting and letting me know that you're here. It doesn't seem real. I'll be really honest with you. The contamination right after the crime scene was immediate. I mean, you had people running up there grabbing hats. You also had, and they were allowed to do that. They were caught later and then they ran off. But then you had the two guys that went up there and took the camera down that was right behind Charlie and sat or stood on the chair that he was sitting on when he was shot. Not even a few minutes right before that. That is a crime scene. That is an active crime scene. And I know I've heard stories where people are saying, well, they were just trying to get that so nobody would steal the camera. I call bullshit. Okay? That is a crime scene. And they should be held accountable for contaminating that crime scene. That is just my personal opinion. I don't care. Even at the Idaho case, when we discussed the Idaho case and we seen about how Brian Koberger got arrested and all that stuff, that was an active crime scene. Nobody was to go in. Nobody was to be trampling around everything, even though the police did trample around stuff. It drove me crazy. But this was an active crime scene. Someone was just violently assassinated in front of the entire world. And they're trampling all over the back of the crime scene like it was nothing. And that, to me, is very suspicious. Not only that there was a trap door right under where Charlie was sitting, there was a trap door. There's so many speculations and so many things circulating online. It's crazy right now. But remember, guys, this is just my very first live. So, of course, everything's not going to be perfect. I've got to work out the bugs on this, and I'm plus getting more comfortable with it. I'm used to going live on TikTok. I'm not used to going live on YouTube. So this is all brand new to me. But I want you to make sure to comment. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see. What would you like to hear about? I think that we should be doing a tribute to the little girl that was murdered on the train that Charlie was talking about, because it seemed like once he passed away, she just kind of disappeared on the internet and her death was never, ever memorialized. So I feel like that we need to have some kind of a memorial for her as well. Irina Zarutska, I mean, that was just horrific. And he did also talk about that, which was terrible. Michelle Turner said, you're doing great. Thank you, Michelle. I'm still kind of nervous and I kind of flipped the wrong button a couple times. My cousin Behind the Veil, if you're not following Behind the Veil, make sure to go follow him. He's the one that I'm always talking about on my lives. So I'm glad you're watching me today, Scott. So, but make sure to get him. You don't want to lose him. He's awesome. Right there isn't no blood splatter from the shot from the high power rifle. That is another thing, Scott. Thank you for bringing this up on here. So one thing I did want to point out, and that's just questionable for all of us, is there is absolutely no blood on the back of the white tent. And how is red going to show up on a white tent? Very much so, right? There's nothing. There's no splatter. There's nothing on there. We did see it coming out of his neck, but we didn't see it go anything on the behind him, behind that tent. So that was just off to me. As they're carrying him to the SUV, just mere seconds after he was shot, there's no blood trail on the what the hell? No way all his blood drained out in just a matter of seconds. That's odd to me. There's no blood trail. I mean, check it out in the video. See if you can find any blood trail from him going from the scene of the assassination to the SUV just mere seconds after it happened. See if you find a blood trail. I didn't see one. If you did, please send me a video. I want to see it because I didn't see one. Yeah, I thought that was kind of odd as well. And, first of all, be real. I do not feel like that kid did it. I feel like there's somebody else involved and quite a few people involved. It's bizarro to me. I can't see how that kid would do that. And it looks like almost AI generated him running on the roof because you can see his shadow and then you can't see his shadow. And then you see him jump down. I see no gun. Okay. So if he jumped off the roof, where's the gun? You don't see it. You see something flopping in front of him, but guns don't flop, right? Especially something that's about 4 foot. So that was something that was off to me as well. And then you can see him running, towards the woods, crossing the street, etc. Then you see him, you see videos circulating of him or a picture of him at the Dairy Queen, 17 miles away, just casually eating Dairy Queen, getting him a nice little blizzard, right? Not running from the police, not scared, didn't look, didn't have that deer in the headlights look, he looked completely normal. So that was really off to me. So I don't feel like Tyler did it. That's my opinion until I'm proven wrong. That's what I'm going to believe. I believe this is, there's another video as well circulating that, Candace did talk about, and it was, she actually spoke to the person that took the video of seeing somebody else on the roof, all dressed in black, in a full black outfit, black mask, did have a rifle on him, but it was a shorter rifle. And then he was seen running away from the roof at 3 seconds after Charlie was shot. That would be more than likely your shooter. Okay. I don't feel like a little 22-year-old kid that I feel like that he's kind of like Oswald at this point, This is going to be as deep as JFK. I just have a feeling that's how it's going to be. The JFK assassination. My cousin behind the veil knows everything about that. And can tell you anything about it. I think this is going to be right up there in the top 10 of the crazy assassinations that were just never explained. But guys, if you like what you're seeing, please make sure to subscribe, and thank you for commenting. Thank you for staying with me for a few minutes. And I'm going to hop off here, and please put in the comments where if you want me to make a video on something, let me know. I would love to do that. I would love to bring something to you that you want.